Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into this thing. All right, let's pull up this freaking screen. Oh, the national media attacks. Imagine that. God, they hate the Vols so much. They can't help it. They just can't help it. Let's get into this story. And this is a story by Caleb Calhoun. It's a great article. He did a really good job on this. It talks about Tennessee football analysts think Vols now regret nixing Greg Schiano, which no, we don't. That's laughable. It says, dear national media, Tennessee football fans don't have any regret. Of course we don't. It says the disaster of the Jeremy Pruitt era that brought about a notice of allegations and put the school in serious trouble doesn't change a thing about what happened in 2017. It says, just to refresh your memory, the Vols had fired Butch Jones, and I'm not mad at Butch Jones, man. He tried hard. He just couldn't pull it off. He recruited well. He just couldn't pull it off on the field. It says John Curry tried to sneak in Greg Schiano, and that had something to do with a booster, as I recall, on a Sunday when nobody was paying attention. And then there was a huge Vol revolt. If you'll remember, on Twitter, everybody was going crazy about it. They didn't want him. It says Curry led a disastrous coaching search after that, which eventually resulted in his ouster. Philip Fulmer had to come in and take over basically the disaster, and I hated that for Phil Fulmer. And he hired Jeremy Pruitt, and then the story died. 4 years later, though, with Pruitt gone due to an NCAA investigation with major violations, some think it's now worth dunking on Tennessee Vols football. And that's what the national media likes to do. Good. Story goes on to say that Pat Ford of SI, imagine that, Sports Illustrated, a big Schiano defender at the time, wrote an article over the weekend saying the chickens have come home to roost for the Vols, and he was just so sad to see that. He added that they got what they deserved. Twitter, meanwhile, decided to join in and think they were dunking on the Vols. And here Mike Melster said, I think college football is better when Tennessee is good, but Tennessee's Twitter actions during the Schiano-Pruitt affair in 2017 was a complete farce with basically zero accountability. Then here's another guy, says, remember when Tennessee fans rioted over Greg Schiano? Here's another one jumping on. It's funny because Pruitt only got the job because the fan base felt Schiano's scandals would give the program a bad look. And I know what the Vols fans are thinking after reading this crap.
Ooh, it's on, all right.
It isn't on, nothing's on, it's off.
It's on.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely on now. It says, here's a message to everybody that got involved. Tennessee football is still better off right now than it would have been under Schiano. The Vols now have Josh Heupel, this is from the writer, obviously, coming off a 7-6 season his first year with one of the best quarterbacks in the nation coming back. Energy is all over the place on Rocky Top. Many outlets have the Vols projected to be a top 20 team going in this year. Even if you think the baggage tied to Schiano was unfair, let's talk about what he has done on the field. Does anybody think Schiano would have UT as a potential top 20 team right now? He hasn't yet had a winning season in 2 years with Rutgers. And then it goes on to talk about how we're facing all these terrible punishments, which I don't think there's going to be that, neither does this writer. It says, if you read the reports of the notice, which we wrote about here, you would know there's a great chance the Vols don't face any serious punishment. Also, even if they do, what is losing a bowl game anymore if you weren't in the college football playoff? It said scholarships are also less relevant with NIL deals, even if we lose some more scholarships. Simply put, the NCAA doesn't seem likely to punish the Vols, and there's not much they can do anyway. Plus, we completely cooperated with them to the point they bragged on us. And I know how the Vols fans are thinking about the national media. They're thinking, fudge you.
Only I didn't say fudge. I said the word, the big one, the queen mother of dirty words.
That's right, the queen mother of dirty words. It says, as a result, any attempted dunk on Tennessee football is futile. It makes no sense, and the Vols are over a year removed from Pruitt. If you're asking if Vols fans would do what they did in 2017 all over again, the answer is a resounding yes. Hell yes. And this is so typical of the national media, it's unbelievable. This is what they do. They love to attack the Vols, partly because we're from the South and they think, oh, everybody down here is a bunch of dumbasses, and they couldn't be more wrong than that. But, you know, when you live up in your little freaking ivory tower and you're being a little keyboard Karen, which is what they basically are, they're just a bunch of keyboard Karens. Oh, we're going to get the Vols. They didn't hire this northern guy that we wanted, and therefore they're a bunch of southern a-holes. No, it's not that. We just didn't like the guy because we didn't care for his reputation, and he'd had some problems. We didn't want him. That's all it came down to. So so be it. And of course, they just keep on piling on, which they always do. And the Vols fans are probably about like this when it comes to national media. All right, folks, that's it on that article. And look, they just hate the Vols. They always will. And the best thing to do is just to win. Keep recruiting like crazy like we've been doing. And Josh Heupel's doing a great job. And then just keep winning. That's the best way to get back at them by far, is just keep winning. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. I need some subscribers as well. I just started this a few weeks ago. So if you don't care, hit that subscribe button. That would help me out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.